At the center of a subtle change in disability law, the Supreme Court has said that students claiming their schools discriminated against them don't have to prove that officials acted in bad faith or gross misjudgment. Instead, those students use the same straightforward rules that apply to other cases of disability discrimination. This ruling overturns a higher bar set by the Eighth Circuit, which had made it tougher for students to bring their claims forward. Now the Supreme Court sent the case back to that court to be handled under the usual standards. With this decision, families will face a clearer path when they say their children were denied equal access in the classroom. Stay tuned. We'll break down what this means for schools and for kids across the country. Nine Robes uses nonpartisan, everyday language to focus on the facts of what the Supreme Court is saying. Here, you'll find clear, concise summaries of every Supreme Court opinion, stripped of legalese and clickbait headlines. Each post breaks down the facts, explains the court's reasoning, and highlights the crucial details that often go unnoticed. It's not just about what the court decided, it's about why those decisions matter, to give you a deeper understanding of the cases that define our nation's legal landscape. These summaries are generated by AI. Be careful and consult reputable sources when in doubt. AJT is a teenage student with a severe form of epilepsy whose seizures preclude her from attending school before noon, but leave her able to learn from noon to 6 p.m. After moving to Osseo area schools, Dist number 279, her parents twice sought to include evening instruction in her IEP. The district denied those requests, cutting her instructional day to 4.25 hours versus 6.5 for non-disabled peers. They prevailed on an IDEA administrative complaint and in federal court, securing compensatory education and after-hours instruction. They then sued under Title II of the ADA and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. The Eighth Circuit affirmed summary judgment for the district on the ground that educational discrimination claims require a heightened showing of bad faith or gross misjudgment, Monahan v. Nebraska, which AJT had not made. The Supreme Court granted certiorari to resolve the circuit's split over whether ADA and 504 claims involving public school services must satisfy that elevated standard. Chief Justice Roberts, writing for a unanimous court, held that Title II and Act 504 claimants relating to educational services are subject to the same requirements applied elsewhere under those statutes. No showing of intent to discriminate is required to obtain injunctive relief, and intentional discrimination, often shown by deliberate indifference, is required only for compensatory damages. The court observed that both statutes prohibit discrimination by reason of disability and confer remedies on any person. It rejected the Eighth Circuit's Monahan-derived bad faith or gross misjudgment rule as incompatible with IDEA's non-exclusivity provision and vacated and remanded the judgment. Justice Thomas, joined by Justice Kavanaugh, concurred in full, but stated that in a future case properly presented, he would revisit whether ADA 504 should uniformly require intent to discriminate, contending that discrimination necessarily implies intent, and that Title II's prescriptions on states implicate spending and 14th Amendment limits. Justice Sotomayor, joined by Justice Jackson, emphasized that the statute's text and legislative history refute any improper purpose gloss, underscoring that discrimination most often stems from benign neglect, and that passive voice drafting and affirmative accommodation duties confirm no animus requirement. The relationship between different disability laws is crucial to understanding this case. The Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, and the Rehabilitation Act broadly prohibit discrimination based on disability and allow for both injunctive relief and monetary damages. Meanwhile, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, specifically ensures appropriate education through individualized programs. After a previous Supreme Court case limited disability rights, Congress clarified that IDEA procedures don't restrict rights available under the ADA or Rehabilitation Act. The Eighth Circuit's requirement for showing bad faith or gross misjudgment in education cases improperly narrowed the protections that should be available under disability discrimination laws. The court's ruling confirms that the standards for proving discrimination should be consistent across different contexts, whether in schools, workplaces, or public services. For injunctive relief, like ordering a school to provide evening instruction, no proof of discriminatory intent is needed. Only when seeking monetary damages must a plaintiff show intentional discrimination, typically through evidence of deliberate indifference to their rights. Find us online at 9robes.ai. That's the number 9robes.ai. Like and share this podcast with friends that like to be informed. 9 Robes provides AI summaries of U.S. Supreme Court cases. AI makes mistakes. People make mistakes too. We genuinely do our best to provide you with the most accurate summaries, but our best sometimes includes errors.